Hello, I'm Lawrence Belden Smythe. I'm from England, the chilly European island that's much better than France. Two things have always intrigued me: America and truth. And dolphins. If they're so smart, how come they breathe oxygen and yet they live in the oceans? Idiots. Anyway, as a child, I used to love watching westerns. I thought the cowboys were manly and cool. So I came to southern Arizona to indulge my curiosity. To discover the truth.
My truth quest immersed me in the world of old-time cowboys, which apparently was full of prostitutes. It took me into the saddle and onto the open range for a genuine roundup. And it took me inside the mysterious world of cowboys after dark, where I'm told my professionalism shone through.
So let's giddy up, partners, because my name is Lawrence and this is America.
I'll pack my favorite trousers, my toothbrush and my comb, 'cause America is calling me.
Arizona is a fairly large state in the American Southwest. It's known for its heat. Nothing else, just the heat. It's pretty much a desert. But in the late 1880s, this parched panorama was a hotbed of cowboy-related activity, attracting all sorts of manly men and their horses. This was literally the Wild West, because no sane person wanted to live there before air conditioning was invented. To find out more about cowboys of the past and cowboys of the present, I went to the heart of Arizona's cowboy country, a place with the cheery name of Tombstone. As soon as I arrived, it was clear little had changed here in 100 years. I'm not sure if this was a deliberate decision or a reflection of Arizona's economics. It was also clear the name meant little. This town did not have a funereal air. But it did have a horde of historic buildings, gobs of grit, and vivid visitors, all wandering the streets dressed as their favorite Wild West character. Apparently, Tombstone attracts tourists by the stagecoach full, lured by the chance to experience a bygone era when men were men, women were women, hats were big, and shirts were loud.
Can you show us your weapon quickly?
Well, all right. I don't pull them clear out on the street, but...
Oh, look at that.
That's an 1877 Colt Lightning original.
That's an actual real...
It certainly is.
Yeah, count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So what is it you do, sir?
I'm a traveling minstrel of the 1800s. I played a bone castanets, which were extremely popular in America, 1840s, early 1900s on stage, and off went from minstrel shows all the way to vaudeville.
Apparently, slapping the bones of dead animals on one's thigh is no longer a popular form of American musical entertainment.
Yeehaw!
So, Tombstone presents one the opportunity to indulge fantasies, at least the ones involving cowboys. Being a cowboy, I mean. I must confess, I've often wondered what it would have been like to be a 19th century Wild West type. Someone like legendary lawman Wyatt Earp, immersed in his famous gunfight at Tombstone's OK Corral.
You're looking for a fight? Well, by God, now you've got one.
Cowboys were a very dramatic, macho and dusty bunch.
Off your hands, you're all under arrest.
I don't know what the fight was about, but thank goodness they had guns to help sort out the whole mess. Being a gunfighter would have been cool, except for the killing, but otherwise cool. But was cowboy life as good as I imagined? To find out if my fantasy was reality or a fantasy, or maybe a fantastic reality, I found a local Tombstonian historian.
Now, what was the life of a cowboy like?
Well, it was a pretty hard life. He had to work long hours in all kinds of weather, under all kinds of conditions. The desert is a merciless place. No water, no shade, no all that stuff.
So what do they do for female company?
Well, the girls are here. They came into the dance halls and the bars and the brothels. We had a lot of them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had probably had 250 prostitutes here at one time.
Wow! Even for America, that's a lot of prostitutes.
How much is a prostitute in Tombstone?
Well, it's quite high if you're down at the Birdcage Theater. Otherwise, it's $3 around town.
What were they like, the prostitutes that lived in Tombstone?
You know, I wasn't here 125 years ago, but I'd say they'd probably be quite dirty.
Yeah? Dirty in a good way.
No.
Are you ladies of the night, then?
For a couple of days, yes, definitely we are.
Really? You're just trying your hand at it?
Just for 2 days, until she gets up late tomorrow.
You're exploring prostitution until you get married?
It's one way to pay for the wedding.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're wearing? Or?
Well, this is a corset and a skirt and boots and feather, and I guess it's all from back in the day.
Yeah?
So we dress up to make tourists happy, basically.
Really? What else do you do to make tourists happy? By the way, how much?
Oh my, you can't afford it.
Cowboying was apparently quite a solitary existence, which meant strong bonds were developed between man and horse. This may explain why prostitutes were so popular. A cowboy's emotional needs were already being met. Now I know what cowboy life was like in the good old days before electricity, ice, and the rule of law. But what's cowboy life like today? And what does a cowboy do anyway? I drive my spurs into the world of the modern cowboy. Next. I'm in Arizona, exploring the American subculture known as cowboys. We all know in the past the handsome chaps drenched in leather, dust and body odour lived hard-living lives. But what about today's cowboy? And what exactly is a cowboy's job description? After extensive research, I can reveal the term cowboy refers to a man who works with cows, literally. I don't know why they weren't called cowmen, but I don't have time to open that psychological can of worms. To learn more, I needed to penetrate the secret world of the modern cowboy.
So, in order to fully immerse myself in the experience, I've decided to find the right togs to blend in with the natives. So here I am at Spur Western Wear, trying to find some clothes that'll make me look like a right, proper cowboy.
This shop caters to the needs of any global correspondent wanting to transform from wordsmith to cowpuncher. That's another term for cowboy. I don't actually want to punch cows. I'd never punch a cow. Not even if I was dared to by a drunken cameraman, only to discover I was punching a bull who got very annoyed and chased me all the way back to my motel.
I'm a cowboy. How did I do? Did I look
Pretty good, pretty good. Need to take your pants out of your boots
Why?
because you want your pants to go down and protect your legs and your tops of your boots.
So if I went out dressed like this, all the other cowboys would laugh at me?
Mm-hmm.
I have revealed two important points. Cowboys are fond of their boots, and I look good in Western wear. Local cowboy Clay Parsons owns 45,000 American acres of Arizona grassy desert, and he lets cows live on it. Every so often he rounds up the beasts, and he agreed to let me come along for the ride, literally. But before I could harass the livestock, I needed to learn how to ride a horse.
Jump right on. Oh, easy there. Okay.
My beast, known as Gizmo, was very accommodating. He clearly recognized my natural affinity with all living creatures.
Here we go. Come on, Gizmo.
Ah!
How you doing?
Well, it's not like wheels, is it?
Okay, if you want a horse to stop, you just pull back on the reins gently. Pull
Okay,
back.
stop.
See? Perfect. Now, if you want him to go, you put your hand forward and just barely kick with your feet. So put your hand forward.
This hand forward?
And just barely kick with your feet. Look at that.
Once I'd got the gist of equine management, it was time to join the other cowboys on a wild roundup. In the interests of full disclosure, there was wild rounding up taking place, just not near me. I'd like to blame my incredibly slow horse, but the reality is my insurance wouldn't cover trotting or galloping. And it's hard to be a television celebrity with brain damage. Cows or no cows, the scenery was spectacular.
We'll go get around these here, Lawrence.
It was easy to grasp the sense of peace and solitude associated with the appeal of cowboy life. That and all the leather, and not having to shower every day. Eventually, the real cowboys found some animals and began noisily herding them into the corral for some reason.
Hey!
Once inside, it was time for the cowboys to do their cowboying thing. It's in these situations the man on the land earns his plate of beans.
Just let him bounce out there.
I suggested they start without me. I needed a moment to become reacquainted with the ground.
Oh, I'm a new shape.
Watching all the roping and mooing and dust and mooing, I glimpsed the life of the modern cowboy. It's hard work, and it's a family business. I couldn't stay on the sidelines long. I'm a reporter who needs to touch, and besides, they had rope.
Now, Lawrence, all you gotta do is when one of these calves runs by you, I want you just to swing that rope up like that here and just throw that rope at him.
Okay.
Just kind of like this.
Okay.
I spent my whole childhood tying up my best friend Tom in the backyard preparing for this moment. I hope the cows don't cry as much as Tom did, or have as much asthma, or brittle bones. At least he was a fast healer.
Hey, swing your rope, Lawrence. Throw it at him. Yeah, Lawrence! Oh! Oh, right there. He's looking at you.
These young cowlets are cunning like foxes, but when set a quest, I am not easily dissuaded, unlike the French.
There, Lawrence. Go up his feet. Yeah, pull! Yeah, there we go, yeah! Hang on tight, Lawrence!
Take that, Napoleon. But alas, simply attaching a rope to the beast only began the activities.
Hang on tight, Lawrence. Here she goes.
This fiery metal stick applies a ranch brand to the animal, making it easy to recognize when socializing with other beasts, presumably at sporting events, family gatherings, or whatever it is cows do in their private lives.
Lawrence, I want you to put that thing right on, right?
I was given the rare and exclusive opportunity to apply this brand to one young cow I shall call Colin. This process is not enjoyable for man or Colin. Probably a little less enjoyable for Colin.
Oh, it's on fire.
Another process, less enjoyable, involves the young male cows who are, well, castrated. We're not showing close-ups of the specifics as they're uncomfortable to males everywhere, but I'm sure you can imagine, and yes, it is that bad.
Bull.
Filled with testosterone, dust, and the tasty flank of a previous ranch resident, I ended my day as a cowboy, eager to learn more. For example, where do these lumps of beef go when they leave the farm? I venture into the world of something called a cattle sale yard and discover a secret cowboy language next. If one is to fully understand the American subculture known as cowboys, one must venture into places like southern Arizona and find these elusive folk in their natural habitat. After riding and roping with a bunch of manly men on a genuine working cattle ranch, I decided I needed to follow the trail of the cows. Where do they go when it's time to leave the ranch? The answer is this place, a cow sale yard, coincidentally owned by my ranch guide, Clay Parsons. Inside this mini stadium, modern cowboys meet to swap stories and buy parading livestock. My journalistic experience told me this was a cultural icon that needed to be probed. starting with the strange sounds coming from the man at the microphone. Is this some secret new American language, or is this man simply making noise?
Can I ask you what you're actually saying there?
Well, it's a numbers and it's a chant. I'm just saying $1 now, $2 now, $3, $4, and then you wait for somebody to bid, and every time somebody bids, it goes up.
You sounds like you're going blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's pretty close. That's what we call filler.
Right.
And you got to have something to say in between it, so that's what we do. We'll let you do this. Sit right down here and enjoy this.
It looked simple enough, but as my grandmother used to say, the proof of the pudding is how well it holds together when I throw it at your grandfather.
86. Oh, Are you bidding? Yeah. Oh, you are? I'm sorry. I thought you were just whipping them. 98. 99.
Hey, you're doing good.
I'm not sure if the gibberish in between bids helps the process or simply avoids an embarrassing cowboy silence.
Sold to the gentleman with the whip.
I was then invited to interact with the merchandise, despite grave fears for the cleanliness of my shoes. Based on the smell, I was not standing in mud. Apparently, cows are not as afraid of an Englishman with a whip as I'd anticipated. Is it just me, or do most of the cowboys at this function seem a little, well, old? Oh, there were a few youngsters in the group, but the average age caused this reporter to fear for the future of cowboys. Perhaps today's young cowboys buy their cows online. Or maybe the younger cowfolk only venture off the land for activities involving alcohol. Coming up, I venture into the world of the younger cowboy after dark. So far in my investigation of the American cowboy, I've dressed like them, ridden horses like them, and roped small cows like them. But I haven't really found many younger cowboys, nor have I discovered how this subculture likes to relax. Fortunately, the cowboy store helped me select new clothing to blend in with my fellow horsemates in their convivial locations known as cowboy bars.
Hello, could I have a cosmopolitan, please?
Apparently, one form of entertainment popular in this group is something called the mechanical bull. It appears to be a robotic version of the actual beast, and patrons enjoy trying to delay being flung off it for as long as possible. To try and understand how this could be considered fun, this reporter needed to mount the bull.
What are the tricks to a good bull ride?
There's a lot, actually. The biggest mistake everybody makes is they think they're strong and they try to hold on really strong with it and overpower the bull, but you have to let your body loose and go with it like a rag doll. Otherwise, you'll fall off like that.
This is not easy. Anyone with a problem with seasickness or dizziness or prostate problems or in possession of an English passport will have difficulties. I believe the attraction to this endeavor is clearly an American secret that shall remain a mystery. Another caper for the carousing cowboy is dancing, but not the ballroom or disco dancing I was familiar with. They prefer something called the two-step.
5, 6, and here we go. Slide together, slide, tap, back, tap, slide together, slide, tap, back, tap.
These dances can be performed in pairs, groups, or groups of pairs.
Slide together, slide together, slide, tap. Tap your left foot.
Thrilling the local teacher was easy. I needed to prove my skills in the field by finding local women prepared to be dazzled. Okay, dancing is fun, but all the counting in one's head can get tiring. So I moved on to another cowboy relaxation technique, drinking. Fortunately, Belden Smythes can hold their liquor. I can't recall how the evening ended, but I'm told I did my country proud.
What are you doing?
My nocturnal adventures ended my quest to learn about the American cowboy. I came to Arizona filled with fantasy images of a glamorous cowboy life. What I found were hard-working men and women striving to honor traditions while providing for their modern families. Whether they're pretending to be old gunslingers trying to give tourists and English reporters a taste of the old way of life, cattle yard auctioneers speaking a stream of nonsensical mutterings trying to convince other cowboys to buy cows, or real modern-day cowboys trying to grow happy fat steaks, these people are the real cowboy culture. It's a hard life, it's a physical life, and it's not for everyone. But I can report the American cowboy spirit remains very much alive.
I salute you, cowboys, and all of your leather, livestock, and line dancing. You're keepers of the flame of the stereotypical macho American, and you've taught me more about being a man than all my years at an all-boys English boarding school. Until next time, reporting and roping from southern Arizona, this is Lawrence Belden Smythe.